As he winds down his final semester at Foster High School, Falcons senior Addison Marshall does so as the winner of this year's Inspirium Football Award, better known as the Rudy Award. The honor goes to the nation's most inspirational high school football player.
Oh, I was just at a loss for words. Just everyone was so deserving, so to be picked was just such an honor, and I'll just always remember that moment.
Addison's monumentally difficult yet inspiring saga began during the spring of his freshman year at Foster, when an apparent rib injury from football turned out to be so very much more.
I got some blood work, and just one thing led to another, and I found out that my spleen had become inflamed with leukemia cells, and it actually cracked my ribs.
My immediate feeling, I was scared. You know, I don't know how many people know this, but back in 2003, I lost an athlete to leukemia.
That first year you're in shock, and you still can't, you go through the motions, but you just can't believe that this is the fate of your child, and there's so many unknowns, and treatment is harsh.
Diagnosed with ALL, Addison began a weekly regimen of chemotherapy over a one-year period, and just as he reached his maintenance stage, Addison was then dealt the most devastating of news.
Then we received the news in April 2010 that he had relapsed into his brain and spine, and it changed his mortality from 80% to 50-50. So that alone pretty much knocks you to your knees.
But with the immense support of his family and the entire Foster High School community, Addison would not let the cancer knock him down. His best friend and teammate, Stefan Cook, was among those with Addison every step of the way.
We've been best friends since 7th, 8th grade, so obviously whenever, something like that happens, it's going to be hard for him. It'll be hard for anyone. So, I just have to, it's not just me, it's everyone, but I just felt like I had to be there for him.
And even through a second full year of chemo treatment, Marshall's desire to be an active student and a part of this football team never wavered.
It just pushed me a lot to just know that I would get the opportunity to go back out there and finally be able to play again. It really kept me motivated.
Addison would have a spinal tap and be a little woozy and a little high from the medication. And he would say, I want to go to school. I have a test at 1. I need to work out with my team. And how fortunate to have coaches and teachers with open arms, and not, instead of saying this could be a liability risk. This community is really special, and they're the reason he's here today.
Todd, I can't describe to you how hard he worked. He's in the weight room just working as hard or harder than anybody I have. When we went out and ran, he ran as hard or harder than anybody had, to the point of exhaustion, to the point where I was even afraid.
After 2 years of chemo this past summer, Addison then underwent a regimen of proton brain radiation at MD Anderson, an incredibly difficult treatment.
To see him strapped down, his face strapped down to a table for an hour or longer on his brain and spine, just knowing that that was happening is pretty devastating, and it was every single day that you'd go down.
After 16 grueling sessions over 16 days, Addison ultimately completed the treatments.
That was one of the best feelings I've ever had, just to know that that part was done, and it was great.
And there would be even better feelings in the fall when Addison rejoined the Falcons football team.
I think football for Addison Marshall was as strong as any chemo or any radiation he had.
As the season unfolded, Addison saw some limited time on special teams. But then, in the final game of the season, Addison fulfilled his dream of returning to the gridiron, playing the entire second half on the defensive line.
Oh, it was just a flood of emotion. I just didn't really think that it was real, that it was actually happening, but it just felt so good to finally be able to be back out there and tackle and just feel normal again. It was great.
But I remember looking around and thinking, oh my gosh, we are in Brossesport. Where's the ER? What's his platelets count? And my friend looked at me and said, Val, this has been his dream. We'll take care of anything that happens. This is it.
I know we've all seen the movie The Blind Side, You know, when the ladies are sitting around at the little dinner they're having and the conversation comes up, and one of the ladies says, you know, this guy, you've really been an inspiration to him, haven't you? And she goes, no, he's inspired me. And that's how I feel about this.
Addison still has about 5 months of chemotherapy treatment ahead of him, but he also truly believes the worst of this ordeal is far behind him, and this amazingly courageous and determined Rudy Award winner hopes others in similar situations will gain strength from what he's been through.
Just to keep on pushing on, that there's always going to be a light at the end of the tunnel, and just be inspired to just do more than you think you can, and you'd be surprised what you can achieve.